Yo, this is Jay from Straight Smoke Gaming, and in today's video, we're going to be doing another one of our 3 things that your favorite team needs to do in this NFL offseason. So if you're a fan of any of the AFC East teams, this is the video for you. We'll be talking about the Dolphins, Bills, Patriots, and Jets. Let's go ahead and get started here. First team we're going to end up talking about here is the Miami Dolphins. So the first thing that I think they should do is re-sign some key free agents. Some of these names, I got a paper written down here. Some guys, Emmanuel Ogbah's good on the defensive side of the ball. Javon Holland's good on the defensive side of the ball. Robert Jones is a good offensive lineman for him. He's a starter. Jordan Poyer is a good defensive guy. Calais Campbell's a good defensive guy. And then they also are losing Raheem Mostert via free agency. Now, if you made the argument you don't want to bring back Mostert because you want to see what Jalen Wright and Devon Achane can bring to that backfield, I wouldn't fault you on that. But this is going to be hard to do considering their available cap is only $1 million. That's the 27th most. So they're going to have to cut some guys, restructure, things like that, make some more cap because you're not going to be able to bring back all of those guys. And it's going to be very hard to free up enough money to probably bring back all of those guys. Previous record, they went 8-9. They were kind of mid last year. Dealt with some injuries, so not that bad considering what they went through in last season. I think that would honestly be pretty good. With Tua getting hurt and everyone else. Tyreek Hill was dealing with a hand injury. So with all the problems that the Dolphins had, I think they had a pretty good finish to the year. The number 2 thing I think they should focus on is defense in the draft. The amount of free agents that I listed, Ogbah, Holland, Poyer, and Campbell, those are all defensive guys that are probably going to be leaving in free agency. Because let's be realistic here. You want to re-sign those key free agents. It's going to be hard. Is it really realistic to? Probably not, especially with them only having $1 million in cap space. So whoever leaves, you're going to want to replace via the draft, specifically on defense. And then number 3 is, again, just replacing guys that are leaving. So on the offensive side of the ball, there's Robert Jones, there's other important pieces. And honestly, you want to improve that offensive line as much as you can. Robert Jones, I think he's a good guard. I think he's important to the Dolphins. But with Tua getting hurt, you want to make sure you got a good line to protect him. And really, honestly, the key thing for them here is I think this is a good roster. I think they could win with the roster they have if everyone stays healthy, if things go the right way. I mean, there's not much change compared to the past couple years on this roster when they were competing with the Bills. So with a healthy Tua and for a full season, I think we could see the Dolphins doing good here. So the key thing is going to be re-signing those free agents and finding good defensive guys that you can put in your starting lineup on defense. And then on the offensive side, you want to replace those guys, whether it's through backups, next man up mentality, or the draft or free agency. Next up, the Buffalo Bills. Previous record, they went 13-4. Available caps, negative $10 million. That's the 30th most. So obviously the first thing that the Bills are going to want to do is get themselves back into positive cap space. So whether that's through free or cuts, restructures, trades, things like that, they got to get plus in the cap space because they're not going to be able to sign even their draft picks without that happening. But the number 1 thing that the Bills should focus on doing is getting Josh Allen some weapons. Now, I know they got a good running back with James Cook. I know they got good tight ends with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. Kincaid had a kind of a step back this year, but they got to find someone offensively. Now, whether that's getting someone to step up in the wide receivers. Now, Shakir's all right. I don't think Shakir's a 1. And I know they took Keon Coleman in the second round, but I just feel like they're lacking a star receiving option for Josh Allen. I think Shakir would be a really good 2. I don't think he's a 1. So I think if they could get that 2, whether that's asking Keon Coleman and giving him more options to take that step forward and be that 1 that you're hoping he is, or you go find someone in the draft or free agency. But they got to do something because I feel like Allen needs more weapons, especially to get over the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. Number 2 is going to be improving the defense. Now, the defense was good. They still had some good defensive success, but this defense is aging. So I guess it shouldn't really be improve the defense. It should probably say more like get younger on defense. Von Miller's still there, eating up a lot of money. So if you could move off of him and try to find some find a good replacement on that defensive line, I think that would be good for the Bills. Now, the defense was good. They did lose a lot of guys the previous free agency on the defensive side of the ball. So, yeah, like I was saying, it's not really improve the defense. It's more so get younger and make that defense a little bit cheaper. The number 3 thing I think they should do is add offensive line depth. Josh Allen isn't old, but he is getting older, so I think the team, at least if I was the coach, I would push for him to stop running the ball as much. You want to save him, you want to save his body. So the key thing here is going to be trying to get this offense in a better spot to where you could count on him to throw more and count on James Cook to run more. So you could do that by adding offensive line depth, making your offensive line as good as you possibly can, helping out that run game and protecting Josh Allen long term. Next up, the New England Patriots. This one should be interesting. They went 4-13, really bad. They got a high pick, top 10 pick in the draft. And you look down their available cap, they're at $119 million. That's first in cap. So they got a lot of money. The first thing they need to do is go on a spending spree. If you look at what the Commanders did last year, they went out and started throwing around money. The Commanders, they made a huge jump from 1 year. So spending money is important. You just got to also spend it in the right spots. And I think that's what the Patriots need to do because this roster is really bad. That's why I think for the number 2 reason, best available in the draft, I don't think they should go in with the mindset of we need Travis Hunter, we need a defensive guy, we need an offensive guy. Don't do that. That's how you end up falling into a spot where you take a guy that shouldn't really go where they're supposed to go. Now, if there's a guy that you like, take him. I don't care if he's an offensive lineman. I don't care if he's defense. If there's no one that you like, trade back. There's nothing wrong with trading back. You got an early pick. You could get a haul for those picks, and then you could use those picks in the upcoming drafts. But I think it's best that if you are using your first-round pick in the first round, you go best available in the draft because this roster is rough. And number 3 is adding stars on both sides of the ball, defense and offense. Now, whether that's star wide receivers, a better tight end, better running back, because we know Stevenson has a hard time holding on to the ball, whether that's getting a good offensive lineman, whether that's getting star defensive lineman. I don't care what it is, but you have to add stars one way or another. Whether it's through free agency or the draft. That's why I think that falls under the category of best available in the draft. You want to make sure you're getting the best guy available because if he's not a quarterback, chances are he can benefit the Patriots roster. I think quarterback is probably the only untouchable spot on this Patriots roster. I like Drake May. You want to give him you want to make him succeed. You want to give him all the chances you can to succeed because you used the third overall pick on him. So by doing that, you want to get him guys to throw the ball. You want to get him people to protect him. You want to get a good running back for him. I think Stevens is a good back, but the fumbles are a problem. And you want to get a good defense that can go out there and get a stop for him during the game and keep you in games. So Patriots, they got the money to do it. They got the early draft pick to do it. It's important for them here to be smart with the draft picks, be smart with their money. Don't be cheap. You got to spend the money that you have because that's the easiest way to get better, and you also got to make good picks in the draft. Finally, we have the New York Jets, last team in the division. Previous record went 5-12. Pretty disappointing. Everyone had a lot of hype for them with Aaron Rodgers coming back. And available cap, they got $23 million. That's the 20th most in the NFL. Number one thing that the Jets should do is try to replace Rodgers at QB. They already came out and said that they're not bringing Rodgers back. So now whether that's, through the draft, through what you have on your roster or signing a guy, you got to replace Rodgers. Rodgers did not have a good year. So maybe you bring in, potentially you sign a guy like Sam Darnold, give him another chance in New York, see how that goes. But I think if they had a better quarterback, this team would have succeeded a lot more. Rodgers didn't play bad, just never really lived up to the hype that he had when going to New York. So that's going to be a big thing, replacing Rodgers, because like I said, he didn't play bad. So, hey, if you can't find someone better, at least get someone on the same level as a kind of like a bridge QB until you find your franchise guy. Number 2 is going to be re-sign some key free agents. List the guys that I have here. DJ Reed, Javon Kinlaw, Tyler Conklin, Tyron Smith, and Morgan Moses. So Morgan Moses and Smith, those are 2 important offensive linemen. DJ Reed and Kinlaw, 2 important defensive guys on that defensive line. And then Tyler Conklin, pretty underrated guy in the offense for them last year. Rodgers kind of liked him, so he was a streaming option in fantasy for me. So I know Conklin was all right. You probably want to bring some of those guys back. They got $23 million. Probably not enough to bring back all these guys, but they can do things to make more money. Whether it's cuts, restructures, those types of things. But you got to bring back some of them. And number 3 is just going to be fixing the offense. New head coach Aaron Glenn, I trust him to fix that defense and keep that defense good, even with the loss of DJ Reed and Kinlaw. But you got to fix that offense first. The offense was really streaky this year. Maybe it's the quarterback, maybe it's the offensive line. I don't know what it is, but you got to get that offense right. Really streaky. Sometimes they look really good. Other times they look really bad. But however it is, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's getting more pieces, whether it's getting a better offensive line, or who knows, maybe you just need a better OC. But you got to fix that offense one way or another because, I mean, you got to have two good parts in the NFL. You can't just have a good defense. You got to have a good offense that can put points up on the board too. So that's what I think the Jets need to do. But when it comes to this division, those are all the teams. This is a opinion-based video. So go ahead, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think some of these teams should do. Let me know if you agree with some of the things I'm talking about. If you disagree, I like reading that kind of thing. So that's all we got for this video. We have two more divisions to do. Those will be coming up here shortly. But when it comes to this video, that's all we got. So if you enjoyed, please remember to like and sub for more Madden content, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.